Hello, everyone, once again, and welcome to IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Gard. Today we're at the Earlham College for the Earlham College Classic. Morgan, how are you?
I'm just fine. How are you, Caleb?
I'm doing great. Great to be here at Earlham this afternoon to see our Red Wolves take on the Denison Big Red here in tournament action, the first tournament that the Red Wolves have played in this season. As we mentioned, they'll be taking on Denison today, who's not played their first game of the season yet, and should be an exciting matchup to see how this Denison team will compete against our Red Wolves. So talk about Denison a little bit. They'll be playing Denison today, of course, then also Heidelberg tomorrow. They are both NCAA Division III programs. Both IU East opponents are opening their season this weekend. IU East has won 2 in a row now, most recently a 92-72 victory over Wilberforce University on November 11th for the Red Wolves' first NAIA homecoming game and home game of the season for the Red Wolves. The IU East first games against NCAA Division III opponents are today. First games on back-to-back days and first appearance in a weekend classic event. Every IU East game has been decided more than double digits this season, and Mackenzie Campbell had a program-high 23 points in the win against Wilberforce, and Tia King also leads IU East with 13.5 points per game for the Red Wolves. So quite the accomplishment right now for the Red Wolves. Morgan?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they are, for a starting program, doing really well for themselves.
All right, let's take a look at the opponent today. Denison has 20-8 last season and reached the championship game of the North Coast Athletic Conference Tournament. 6'1" sophomore post Jordan Holmes is the reigning NCAC Player of the Year after averaging 10.6 points, 14.6 rebounds, and 6.1 blocks per game. Holmes is the lone returning starter for the Big Red this season. Taking a look at some of the Red Wolves in the rankings, IU East is 10th in the nation with 17.8 offensive rebounds per game, 18th in the nation in defensive three-point field goal percentage allowed, 22nd in the nation with 12.8 steals per game, and 23rd in the nation with 7.5 three-pointers per game. Freshman guard Bailey Dryman is 20th in the NAIA with 5.3 assists per game, and freshman guard Kayla Schaefer from Culver High School, Community High School, is 47th in the NAIA with 2.8 steals per game. Well, there's about a minute left on the warm-up clock. Let's go ahead and give a quick rundown of the starting lineups. Starting for Denison, a junior at wing, a 5'8 junior, number 2, Kelly Arter. At wing is going to be a 5'9 junior, number 5, Taylor Lindquist. A 5'5 sophomore at point guard, number 11, Gabrielle Nottage. At point, a 5'11 senior, number 30, Mary Margaret Table. And also at point, a 6'1 sophomore, number 44, Jordan Holmes. That's a post player for the Big Red that we talked about. That's the lone returning starter for the Big Red. As we get ready to go to the national anthem and the starting lineups here at Earlham College, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with the starting lineup for the Red Wolves. We'll be right back with more IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
I don't even know.
And welcome back to IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Gard. Today we are at Earlham College for the Earlham College Classic inside the Athletics and Wellness Center at the Roy Shuckman Court here on the campus of Earlham College. Before we went to break, I said we'd meet the starting lineup for the IU East Red Wolves. So let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineup for IU East. Starting at guard, a 5'5 freshman from Ottawa Glandorf High School, number 5, Kristen Miller. Starting at guard also for the Red Wolves, a 5'9 freshman from Warren Central High School, number 22, Tia King. At forward, a 5'8 freshman from Rushville High School, number 23, Mackenzie Campbell. At forward, a 5'11 freshman, also from Rushville Consolidated High School, number 24, Kerrigan Niehoff. And at forward, a 5'11 freshman from East Central High School, number 44, Brooke Packer. There's the starting lineup for your IU East Red Wolves, coached by Tiffany Selhorst, who is back this week after having to sit out the home opener the other night against Wilberforce after being teched up twice at Roosevelt University and was mandated to sit out one game by the NAIA, but now she's back in the head coach's chair tonight here at Earlham College, and it should be an exciting matchup. Morgan, what do you expect to see out of these two teams tonight?
I think it's great to see IU East playing the Division III team, Denison, tonight. I think it's going to be a great opener for them as well as a great learning experience for IU East today. Expect the best out of both teams.
All right, well, last night the volleyball team opened up conference tournament play against IU Southeast, and they lost to IU Southeast 3-0 last night. So an unfortunate night there for the Red Wolves, but what a great season for the Red Wolves. Their 6th consecutive 20-win season. Quite an accomplishment with such a young team. Only one returning junior, no seniors. Lots of freshmen, lots of sophomores. So that's a great accomplishment. Great season, really, for the Red Wolves.
Great season.
Unfortunately, a tough loss last night.
Oh, Mallory Livingston, though, did make first team KIAC. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Player of the year.
And Player of the Year. So congratulations to her.
Congratulations to Mallory. Men's basketball team is in action today at IU South Bend. That game started at 2 p.m. Currently, the Red Wolves lead there 51-34 with 16:08 left to play in the second half. So things looking up for the Red Wolves there. Leading the way right now for the Red Wolves in scoring is Houston Clark. He's got 10 for IU East. He has 10 rebounds, I'm sorry. Brad Hunt leading the way right now in scoring with 11 with just under 16 minutes to play in the second half at IU South Bend. And we're ready to go here at Earlham College. Ball out for tip-off, and here's the tip. This one's going to be picked up by the Big Red, and their number 5 is going to take it and try to score off of it. Can't get anything. Number 5 for the Big Red is Taylor Lindquist. And a shot over, or pass over to the right wing to Miller. Back out on top to Campbell. Campbell passes down in the right corner to King. King puts up a three-pointer, no good. It'll be rebounded by the Big Red. So the Red Wolves and the Big Red off. And Taylor Lindquist gets one to fall there for the Big Red. They'll take the 2-0 lead with 19:20 to play here in the first half. Miller has the ball down low, passes out top to Packer. Packer takes it over the left side, kicks out top to King. King drives the lane, passes off to Niehoff, and Niehoff will get one to fall, tie it up at 2 with 19:05 to go.
Something I noticed about Brooke Packer is as a forward, she's actually playing a lot more outside.
Mm-hmm.
Very versatile player.
Big Red with the ball out on the wing. Almost a little body check there by Miller. Pass inside to, it's going to be number 44. That's Jordan Holmes. She gets a basket good off of her rebound, and it's going to go to the line to shoot one for the Big Red. The foul is on Brooke Packer. That's her first, team's first on the Red Wolves. So the first foul in the game committed by the Red Wolves. The free throw by Holmes is no good. And it's going to be rebounded by the Red Wolves. Bring the ball down the floor. Miller with the ball out. Goes toward the lane. Around the left side. Puts one up. Rebounded by the Big Red. Down on the other end of the floor. The ball's out in the right corner. Back out top. Stolen away by King. King brings it down on the fast break. Comes to a stop. Puts one up. No good. Gets her own rebound. Puts another one up and no good. Ball in transition down to the other end of the floor, right underneath the basket. Shot goes up by Habel, and that's going to be no good. She's going to be fouled, go to the line to shoot two. Fouls on Kristen Miller. That's her first, team second on IU East. Did not get a chance for a free throws at the line that time. There was a shot go up by Nottage, no good. And comes down to the other end of the floor. Niehoff has the ball, goes to the right, makes a spin move, and puts one up, no good. Niehoff 0 for 2 from field goal range today. Both shots right underneath the basket. And now it's over on the left wing. Coming back out top with the ball is Arter. And one in just inside the key goes up by Habel, no good. And it's going to be rebounded by the Red Wolves. Things come back down to the IU East end of the floor. And there's going to be a foul called on the Big Red as Campbell goes down holding kind of her shin area. She's a little slow getting up. She took a hard hit the other night in the Wilberforce game as well. Kind of got blindsided in that game. And she's in pain as she tries to get up.
That did not look like a good fall at all. And like you said, she injured it on Tuesday, so just re-injuring it. Hopefully she'll be able to recover very quickly, but that's painful.
Campbell's a 5'8 freshman from Rushville High School. One of the better players on this Red Wolf roster. Even though it's a well-rounded roster, she had a big night the other night against Wilberforce.
23 points. She's a key player.
King set to inbound the ball for the Red Wolves. Be on the baseline underneath the IU East basket, just outside the lane. Pass inside to Niehoff, and it's going to be tipped out of bounds off of Holmes. The Big Red has the 4-2 lead with 17:27 to play. Ball inbounded to Packer. Packer stays in the paint. She puts one up, rebounded by Niehoff. Niehoff gets it to fall in that time. Niehoff 1 for 3, has 2 points in the game, as the Red Wolves tie it up at 4 with just over 17 to play. And it's going to be traveling called on the Big Reds, number 24. That's Alyssa Wagner, one of the wing players for the Big Red. Miller crosses the half-court line for the Red Wolves, goes down the right side, passes out to Packer. Packer's going to be called for traveling, didn't dribble there before she took off. So Habel inbounds the ball for the Big Red to Erica Holmes. And takes the ball down the right side. Out on the wing. And almost a shot goes up. It's going to go into the hands of Niehoff. Niehoff brings the ball down the floor for the Red Wolves. Takes it to the right side, dishes off to King, and it's going to be tied up. They're actually going to most likely call King for a foul here. And it's going to be Big Red ball, as that is a foul called on Tia King. That's her first foul, team's third on the Red Wolves. Crossing the half-court line. Ball out on the wing with Holmes. Now it's over on the right side. And here goes the shot by number 24, Wagner. That's going to be missed and rebounded by the Red Wolves. 16-10 to play in the second half. Here's a shot by Schaefer. The three is good.
What a pretty shot that was.
3-point shot there by Schaefer. Her first shot of the game's good. Gives the Red Wolves a 3-point lead, 7-4, with 15:55 to play. And it's going to be a foul called on the Red Wolves there. That's going to be Miller's second personal foul, team's fourth on the Red Wolves. Well, you'd be expecting her to be subbed out here soon, and she was. Dryman's in for Miller now, and looks like we're going to have an illegal screen on the Big Red. Foul was on Emily Crumpy. That's her first. Team's second on the Big Red. Here's Packer. She puts a shot up. Niehoff gets the rebound and throws it into the hands of the Big Red. Big Red with the ball just inside top of the key on the elbows of the lane. And a shot goes up there by, looked like number 10. That's going to be Holmes from three-point range. Red Wolves bring the ball across the half-court line. Dryman drives up the middle hard, dishes off to Niehoff. It's back over to Packer. Schaefer, here's Dryman. Out top to Packer. The Red Wolves working the ball around rather fast right now. And it's going to be tipped out of bounds off of the Big Red. IU East to keep the ball. So shot clock down to 16 with 15:08 to play. Dryman inbounds the ball to Niehoff underneath the basket. Niehoff trying to get some position here to score. And she's going to miss and get her own rebound. She'll put it back up and score.
She's been very good at getting her own rebounds very quickly like that.
So a 9-4 lead for the Red Wolves, up by 5 with 14:48 to play. And
that was Brooke Packer with the steal.
Packer has the ball on the right side, crosses over, goes left. Kept by the Red Wolves. Over to Dryman. Dryman goes right. Back out top to Packer. Shot clock at 13. Here is Schaefer. She's going to miss this one. It's going to be tied up by Niehoff and Holmes. Schaefer has 3 points. 0 for 1 from field goal range, but 1 for 1 from three-point range. And I don't have my stat sheet with me from the Wilberforce game, but if I remember right, at one point, I remember talking about how she had hit every three-pointer that she had shot, but had not made a field goal yet. And normally that's the other way around.
The other way around, yes.
So the foul's going to be on Emily Crumpy, her second, team's third on the Big Red. That's going to put Niehoff at the line to shoot 2. 4-2 on the team fouls. And Niehoff not been to the line yet tonight. She is 2 for 5 from field goal range. First free throw, no good. Bounces off the rim. And she's going to have one more here at the line. She has 4 points for the Red Wolves out of the 9. Kayla Schaefer has 3, and another basket scored by the Red Wolves to add up to 9. And second free throw for Niehoff falls, and that's going to make it 10-4. And a trap as soon as the ball is inbounded by, and there's going to be a 30-second timeout taken by the Big Red as they knew they were in a little bit of trouble there. IU East has a 6-point lead with 14:20 to play. We'll be right back with more women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Oh my gosh, I drove in and the Earlhamites were doing some weird stuff. Like petting dogs in the middle of the forest.
And welcome back to IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East has a 6-point lead, 10-4, with just over 14 minutes to play. Red Wolves, the Big Red has the ball down there. A shot missed by, looks like number 2. Here's Schaefer, not Dryman. And she's going to miss her shot, but it's going to be out of bounds off the tip. And the ball goes out to Niehoff. Dryman has the ball on the right elbow, passes out to King. King puts up the 3, and bank is no good. Dryman falls hard there after trying to get the rebound, but appears to be okay. And that's always
good.
That's always a good sign.
If you notice, Mackenzie Campbell is back on the bench. She's walking and looks absolutely fine right now. So maybe we will see her sooner.
She took a
Hard
bad
fall.
lay in there by Arter. 1 for 2 tonight, makes it 10-6. As the Red Wolves do have the lead. In men's basketball, the Red Wolves have a 58-45 lead, so they did have a rather large lead earlier, but the South Bend Titans trying to tie things up late in the game. Still 10 minutes to play in the second half over in South Bend. Ball crosses the half-court line. And out top, almost stolen away by Mackenzie Bowles, the freshman out of Lapel. Went to Lapel High School. Red Wolves with a 4-point lead with 13:22 to play. And here is Jenna Knapp. She'll bring the ball across for the Red Wolves. Passes it over to Dryman. Schaefer with the ball, and we have traveling called on the Red Wolves. And correct me if I'm wrong, Morgan, but I believe she did that earlier in the game. Sort of took off before she had her dribble established.
I believe that was Brooke Packer.
Might have been.
Might have been. Maybe.
Ball over on the right wing right now with Nottage. Passed inside and trying to make it around the post pass, but they're going to call a foul down low. Waiting to see who the foul was on or what exactly the call was. Ball now being inbounded by the Big Red. It's going to be out on the right wing, and it's going to be off the foot of Holmes. Kept alive by the Big Red. Back over to the right corner with Holmes. She puts up a three, and this one's good. Makes it a 1-point ball game. And they're actually only going to count it as 2. Makes it 10-8. And there's Kelly Arter with her second basket of the game to tie it up at 10 with 12:26 to play. Red Wolves have to start getting things here going, and it's going to be called out of bounds there on the baseline. It'll be Big Red basketball out of bounds. Mackenzie Campbell back in for the Red Wolves, who we just talked about a few minutes ago, took that hard injury earlier on, just minutes into the game. And there's Nottage with another basket for the Big Red to give them their second lead of the night, 12-10. Campbell with the ball, appears to be fine, makes a spin move, goes into the lane, kicks it over into the left corner to, looks like Dryman. And tripped up over the ball that time was Campbell. Gets up, appears to be fine, brings the ball down the floor. Nottage over on the wing, drives to the inside, lays it up left-handed, no good, rebounded by Dryman. Dryman brings the ball up the floor, right-handed, lays it in right-handed, and ties it up at 12. Dryman's first shot of the night is good. Gives her first 2 points of the evening. And down in the corner, here's a shot by Arter. No good, and rebounded by the Red Wolves. Slowing things down here as the Red Wolves bring the ball down the floor. Here's a shot on the right wing by number 25, Caitlin Dobbins. It'll be no good. And here's Campbell with the three. She was hitting those all over the floor the other night, and it's no good. The thing that's kind of interesting about that shot is it's her first shot attempt of the game. And the three-point shot on the other end by Lindquist was no good either. So tied up at 12 with 10:39 to play here in the first half at the Roy Shuckman Court on the campus of Earlham College for the Earlham College Classic. And here's the inbound play. Out on top. Over on the right side to Nottage down in the corner. And there's going to be traveling called on the Big Red. Here's King bringing the ball up the floor and tries to pass down low to Packer, but it goes into the hands of Holmes. And brings it back down the floor is Nottage. She's going to the right side and will put up a shot from about 8 feet out, and that will be no good, rebounded by the Red Wolves. King lays one in for the Red Wolves, give them a 14-12 lead. That's her first points of the afternoon. And the Red Wolves now up by 2. Have led by as many as 6. And Holmes will miss one underneath that time. And here comes the Red Wolves down the floor. King with the ball out on the right side. Passes down low to Packer. And traveling called on Campbell.
Seems like traveling has been everybody's weakness today.
Exactly. I was actually just thinking about that. You know, apparently the officials are watching more for the traveling right now than some of the other things. The foul count really is pretty low at this point. You're halfway through the first half, 4-3 on the fouls. There's only 7 fouls called right now in the first 10.5 minutes. Hook shot there by Merringer, and that's going to be good. Ties it up at 14. Campbell thought about going for it, passes out top to Packer. And now King has it, drives it down right-handed, and it rolls out, and it's going to be out of bounds off of the Red Wolves. It'll be a big red ball. Many of you might know Tia King. She's helped us out some this season doing volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Actually, I believe the last game she did with us was here, actually, for volleyball.
Oh.
So, and it's going to be a turnover on the Big Red.
I was very excited about that.
And right now, the thing that's really hurting both teams is turnovers. Red Wolves have 9, 7 on the Big Red. Here in the first half, 8:47 to play. Campbell with the ball out on top of the key. Trying to find Packer down low. Almost didn't make it. Here's a three-point shot by King. No good. Rebounded by Knepp.
IU East has been making great rebounds today on both sides.
And here is Dobbins. It's going to be blocked by Holmes.
That is probably the first move I have seen Jordan Holmes do today. At 6'1", I was expecting a lot more out of her, and I have not been impressed.
And there's going to be foul called on the play over here on the right side in front of us. And it's going to go on number 20, Gabby Merringer. Her first, team's fourth on the Big Red. The Red Wolves and the Big Red all tied up here with 8:18 to play. Men's team up 64-56 over IU South Bend.
South Bend is catching up slowly.
Here's Packer out on top with a three-pointer. This one's no good. And rebound by the Big Red. And traveling called on the Big Red. It'll be Red Wolf basketball. Keep talking about those turnovers. Now it's going to be 9-9 on team turnovers. Adds up for 18.5. And Dobbins is going to be called for traveling before she shoots.
The refs are definitely watching very carefully for travels today.
7:57 to play, and a quiet Earlham College gym. There is really, compared to some of the girls' games I've been to here, there's really a pretty decent crowd tonight.
A little bit closer to home, maybe for most of us.
Foul's going to be on Dobbins. Her first, team's fifth on the Red Wolves. And it's inbounded. It's going to be on the left wing, now out top. Here's Dobbins with the chance to get the steal. It's going to go all the way over toward the sideline. Red Wolves will recover with the basketball. And here's King, comes down the floor right side, and it's going to be a block. She was lucky enough to get away with not the charge. Apparently, number 5, that's Taylor Lundquist, just wasn't able to be there and get set. It's her first, team's fifth on the Big Red, and it puts King at the line to shoot two. The game's tied at 14, 7:29 to play, and the first shot goes up by King and is good. She has 3 points out of the 15 for the Red Wolves in this basketball game, as she has her first free throw line experience in the game right here. Second free throw goes up and in for King, and that'll give her 4 points in the game. 16-14, Red Wolves with a 2-point lead, as we are just under 7.5 to play. Ball now over to the right side. Tried to pass underneath. No one's home. Stole by Dryman. And she's going to bring it down the floor. Pass off to King. King's going to be blocked and recovered by the Big Red. They're going to take transition to the other end of the floor. Down in the left corner underneath the basket as the shot goes up. And the shot was missed by the Big Red. Rebounded by the Red Wolves. Here's Packer. No good. And they're going to be out of bounds on the Big Red over on the far side of the floor in front of the scores table. 16-14 with 6:48 to play. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize for not being able to see who's in the corner sometimes in that left corner. Any of you that have ever been here to Earlham College, you've seen the observation booth and the wall, the beams here inside the gym kind of go out, and it makes it a little difficult to see the corner. So we'll try to do the best we can throughout the course of this game. The shot was missed there by Knepp, and it was rebounded by the Big Red. And 2 shots up by the Big Red that time. Go to the line, shoot 2. So the foul's going against Hatfield, her first. Team 6th on IU East. And that puts the Big Red at the line. Hable at the line for the Big Red. Her first free throw up and in, her first points of the game. 16-15 with 6:26 to play. Here's Hable at the line for the second of 2. This one goes up and in for Hable, ties it at 16. Dryman has the ball. The game's tied up with a shot in the right side by Knepp. It will be no good. Arter passes over into the right corner. The shot goes up by Lindquist. No good. Lindquist has the ball, passes out top to Nottage. Over on the left side. And here is Hable. The Big Red with a 2-point lead, 18-16, 5:48 to play. Net passes over to the right side. And right now, I'm beginning to wonder why there's only one starter in the game right now for the Red Wolves. 3-point shot missed from way outside by Caitlin Dobbins. 0 for 2 from 3-point range. Here's Nottage. Passes over to the right side to Arter, who puts up a 3, and this one's good for Arter. And that gives the Big Red a 5-point lead, their largest of the game with 5:17 to play. We'll be right back with more women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network after this timeout.
Sometimes I think the fates must grin as we denounce and insist. The only reason we can't win is the fates themselves that miss. Yet there lives on an ancient claim, we win or lose within ourselves. The shiny trophies on our shelves can never win tomorrow's game. You and I know deeper down, there's always a chance to win the crown. We failed to give our best. We simply haven't met the test of giving all and saving none until the game is really won. Of showing what is meant by grit, of fighting on when others quit, of playing through, not letting up. It's bearing down that wins the cup, of taking it and taking more until we gain the winning score. Of dreaming there is a goal ahead, of hoping when our dreams are dead, of praying when our hopes have fled. Yet losing not afraid to fall if bravely we have given all. For who can ask more of a man than giving all within his span? Giving all, it seems to me.
And welcome back to women's basketball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Guard. 5:10 to play as the Big Red now has a 5-point lead on a 5-0 run right now for the Big Red. Here's Niehoff, and there's going to be traveling called once again. I mentioned before I went to the break, I was wondering why there's only one starter in. We're back with 3 of the original starters for the Red Wolves. Niehoff back in, and Schaefer in for the Red Wolves. And here's Knapp with a layup on the right side. That makes it 21-18. And down the right side, on the other end of the floor is Alex Ingram. Schaefer with the ball in the right corner, driving out top. Tried to find Knapp underneath. As Morgan just mentioned, a great save there by Jenna Knapp underneath the basket. Niehoff with the ball, kicks out top to Dryman. Shot fake. Now it's over in the left corner. And that's going to be off the foot of Ingram. Stay Red Wolf basketball. 23-18 with 4:18 to play. Men's basketball team up 71-63 right now over IU South Bend with 3:41 to play. Brad Hunt still leading the way in scoring for the Red Wolves. 3-way tie, actually, with Jason Ray and Tyler Fangman. We'll have 11 points over there at IU South Bend up north. And that's going to be out of bounds. We've read Big Red basketball. .409 to play. Ball back inbounds. And a nice screen underneath allows Lindquist to score. Lindquist has 4 points for the Big Red, as they have a 7-point lead right now with 3:50 to play. Red Wolves need to get a little run going here to regain some momentum, and there's a 3-point attempt that was good by Schaefer out top, and makes it 25-21. And stolen away by Campbell. She's going to go to the left side and kick it back out top to Niehoff, who drives the lane. Back out top to Schaefer. And she's going to drive up the lane as well and be fouled on the way up off the block. And that actually looked like that's going to go against Jordan Holmes. That's her second, team's 6th on the Big Red. Schaefer at the line to shoot 2. She's not been in the line yet. First free throw is good. And a chance to get the Red Wolves back in it here. And second free throw up and off the front of the rim and to the back and in for Schaefer. 2-point ball game now, 25-23. Ball across the half-court line. Down on the right side, shot up by number 14. That's Fletcher, no good, and rebounded by the Red Wolves. So right here, if you're the Red Wolves, slow things down. 3-point shot by Campbell, no good. Dryman almost able to get out there for the rebound. Traveling called on the Big Red as she kind of hesitated there to avoid a collision with Bailey Dryman. Campbell 0 for 2 from 3-point range after shooting that 3-pointer out top. 3 minutes left to go in the first half as the Red Wolves trail 25-23. Chance to tie it up. 71-66 in South Bend. Here's Schaefer, and she's going to be fouled and go to the line for 2 more. She's 2 for 2 at the line in the game.
For it almost being the half, it's been a very slow point game for both teams. I would expect maybe a higher game, but
I think we got spoiled with that game the other night against Wilberforce.
Yes, I believe that.
92-72. First free throw this time good by Dryman. 3 for 3 at the line.
That's Taylor Hatfield.
Or not. No, that's Schaefer, actually.
We're both wrong. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Second free throw was no good. It's going to be 25-24. Red Wolves down by 1. with 2:49 to play. There's Dryman. She passes off to Campbell, who's going to be called for traveling. And right now, I will be completely honest, the players are doing really well with keeping their cool with all these traveling violations.
I would have been probably in a ref's face by now if that was me.
Ball inbounds into the backcourt. Up front to Arter. Now over into the corner. 3-point shot goes up by Lindquist. No good. Rebounded by the Red Wolves. 2:25 to play. As the Red Wolves down by 1. Schaefer has the ball. Drives the lane. And that's going to be an offensive foul on the Red Wolves. It's going to go against Schaefer, her first, team 7th. So the Big Red now in the bonus. But with that being an offensive foul, they will not go to the line to shoot the bonus. Shot goes up that time by Fletcher. And it's 27-24 with 2 minutes to go. Here's Bowles, and she's going to be fouled on the way up by Fletcher. Bowles, a freshman from LaPel High School. 18 fouls now on Denison, who has a 3-point lead. First free throw by Bowles off the back of the iron, no good. .202 to play. Second free throw by Mackenzie Bowles, up and in. Bulls with 1 point in the game. 27-25 with 2 minutes to go. And there's another basket by Fletcher on the fast break down the floor. Right now, I would say if you're the Red Wolves, stop putting on the full court press. Stay back in the backcourt and wait on the Big Red to get down there, because that's how they're scoring right now, is off the fast break, because there's just nobody down there to defend right now. 3-point shot over in the corner by Dryman's good, and that's going to make it 29-28. Dryman with 5 points in the game. Stolen away by the Red Wolves. Campbell brings the ball up the floor. He's going to pass off to Bowles. Bowles out of reach, and it's going to be out of bounds off the Red Wolves. 1:17 to play. Big Red basketball. Ball inbounds, and this one's going to go into the backcourt, and it'll be out of bounds off of the Red Wolves. As a nice effort there by Behringer to throw the ball off of Kerrigan Niehoff. One minute to go. Red Wolves up by 1. Big Red with the ball out top. And it's going to be tied up, and it'll be Red Wolf basketball. 29-28, 47 to play. Red Wolves cross the half-court line, down by 1. Bailey Dryman with the ball, goes down the right side, passes off to Bowles in the corner. She'll go out top to the free throw line. Here's Campbell. Spin move out top to Dryman, trying to burn down the shot clock here as we go to halftime. Dryman with the ball in the right corner, passes down low to Niehoff, finds her open underneath the basket, and 30-29 with 25 to go. Nice play there by the Red Wolves to have a 1-point lead with 16.1 to play as we get ready to go to halftime. And here's the ball inbounded by Denison. Shot clock dead. And cross the half-court line. Nottage puts a shot up. This one's good. It'll be 31-30 with a whistle.
Looks to be
like possibly Kerrigan Niehoff down right now for the Red Bulls. Of course, Coach Selhorst and the Earlham College athletic trainer out on the floor with her right now is Morgan. I didn't see it, but from what I hear, it was two players collide underneath the basket.
Yes, two players. Kerrigan and number 30 for Denison, Mary Margaret Habel, collided underneath there, and it looked like she got a knee to the face, maybe? She was holding her face nonetheless.
All right. 31-30 with 2.7 left on the clock. Is IU East basketball, so right here, do you roll it? Or you inbound it, pick it up. Here's Campbell. She crosses the half-court line, puts it up, and this one off the front of the rim. And the Red Wolves will trail by 1 at halftime, 31-30. Morgan, tell us a little bit about what we saw here in the first half.
In the first half, the first 10 minutes maybe, definitely very heavy defense. They did really good. That was their beginning starters. They were playing very smart as they were going. Closer to the second half, it looked like Coach Selhorst was probably putting more of a faster team in, someone quick action is like what I like to say. They were making a little bit more tiny mistakes, a lot of travels from both teams. However, for Denison, I've been pleasantly surprised, maybe to say the least, that Jordan Holmes is not averaging more points. You know, a lot of talk, everybody's talked her up so high. You know, as a 6'1" sophomore, led the nation last year in blocks, 15 rebounds a game. I've not been impressed with her, so maybe Denison is, as their season opener, maybe it's oh my goodness, what am I trying to say? A little bit of nerves, that's what I'm trying to say. But great first half for the Red Bulls.
All right, well, speaking of one-point games, 71-70 right now at IU South Bend. Red Wolves do have the lead with 1:09 to play. That's at IU South Bend. Taking a look at this game, of course, we said 31-30 at halftime. Take a look at some of the stats here before we go to break. Denison shooting 14 of 32 right now from field goal range. The Red Wolves shooting 10 for 32. So the Red Wolves trailing the Big Red by about 11% in field goal percentage at halftime. Denison is 1 for 6 from three-point field goals. Red Wolves are 3 for 13 at the free throw line. Denison is 2 for 3. IU East 7 for 10. So 66 to 70% on free throw percentage. The rebounds right now for Denison, they have 21 out rebounding the Red Wolves by 120. Turnovers right now, we've talked about how they have really hurt both teams in the game so far, and the two teams have combined for 32 turnovers in the first half. Denison has 18. The Red Wolves have 14 turnovers here in the first half, and just a lot of mistakes by both teams, a lot of traveling going on out there right now. Just early in the season stuff happening right now for both teams. Leading the way in scoring, though, at halftime for the Red Wolves is going to be Kayla Schaefer. She has 9 points, followed up by Bailey Dryman and Kerrigan Niehoff with 7. Also scoring for the Red Wolves, Tia King had 4, and Jenna Knepp had 2, along with Mackenzie Bowles, who had a free throw for the Red Wolves. Scoring for the Big Red, leading the way at halftime, Kelly Arter with 7. Gabrielle Nottage with 6. Mary Margaret Habel and Taylor Lindquist with 4, along with Akila Fletcher with 4. And scoring with a basket apiece, Gabby Merringer and Alex Ingram, Jordan Holmes, all scoring for Denison University to give them a 31-30 lead at halftime. About a little under 13 minutes to go here at halftime. We're going to come back at about 5 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about the past volleyball season and how things went for the volleyball team who fell last night to IU Southeast 3-0 in the conference tournament. So we'll be back in about 8 minutes with more women's basketball on the Red Wolf Sports Network. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports. a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
Sometimes I think the fates must grin as we denounce and insist. The only reason we can't win is the fates themselves that miss. Yet there lives on an ancient claim, we win or lose within ourselves. The shiny trophies on our shelves can never win tomorrow's game. You and I know deeper down, there's always a chance to win the crown. But when we fail to give our best, we simply haven't met the test of giving all and saving none until the game is really won. Of showing what is meant by grit, of fighting on when others quit, of playing through, not letting up. It's bearing down that wins the cup, of taking it and taking more until we gain the winning score. Of dreaming there's a goal ahead, of hoping when our dreams are dead, of praying when our hopes have fled. Yet losing, not afraid to fall if bravely we have given all. For who can ask more of a man than giving all within his span? Giving all, it seems to me, is not so far from victory. And so the fates are seldom wrong, no matter how they twist and wind. It is you and I who make our fates. We open up or close the gates, on the road ahead or the road behind.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
I'm Dr. Ganesh Ramachandran, the region's only hand specialist at Reed Orthopedic Center. Patients love how easy it is having everything under one roof and how easy it is to get here. Right here at Reed Orthopedic Center, right here in Richmond.
Hello, everyone, once again, and welcome back to IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The Red Wolves ahead 31-30 at halftime, down 31-30 at halftime, getting my scoreboard all figured out here at Earlham College. But now joining me is Kyle Wright, the Assistant Athletic Director and Sports Information Director at IU East. Kyle, you had a chance to go to Pittsburgh last night and watch the volleyball team play. Tell us a little bit about how last night went for the Red Wolves.
Just one of those days that I just the volleyball gods weren't on our side, I don't think. Those that don't know, IU Southeast knocked IU East out of the KIAC volleyball tournament in the quarterfinals. It was 3 sets, all 3 sets very close. It was 29-27, 25-22, 25-23. Had 3 set points in that first set. Wasn't able to convert any of them. I think if we had, things might have gone a little different. That was a real momentum turn for IU Southeast. But one of those, IU Southeast certainly deserved the win. In fact, they went on to beat top-seeded Asbury this morning, and they're playing in the championship match as we speak, so they're certainly on a roll. But if you look at the stat sheet, IU East won a lot more points. They had a lot more kills and things of that nature, but also lost a lot more points, a lot more errors than IU Southeast had. IU Southeast looked like they were definitely going to force us or anyone to beat them, and they weren't going to give it away, and they didn't give it away, and we didn't quite do enough to beat them. So kind of a bittersweet end to the season. They'd won 16 out of 19, had IU East going into that match, and I thought we were really had a chance to make a run that tournament, but ended a little sooner than any of us wanted to.
Now, I know you made the comment earlier when we were talking about it. You said there was twice that one of our players be going over toward out of bounds to try to save the ball, and it'd go off their head and out of bounds. And you said, lost that set 25-23.
That's what, I mentioned that just the volleyball gods weren't on our side that day. And again, I'm not, IU Southeast earned it, don't get me wrong. But like I said, twice in the third set, the ball is clearly going out. I mean, our players clearly trying to get out of the way, and just a little knuckleball on the volleyball took a dip in a way we weren't expecting and knocked us in the noggin. So if you think about it, we lost that set 25-23, switch around 2 of those points. Who knows, we might still be playing right now. But just one of those days, it wasn't our day, and IU Southeast made sure to take advantage of that opportunity.
Well, definitely a great season for the Red Wolves volleyball team. While you're here, the men's basketball team at South Bend today, they just picked up a 75-70 win over the Titans. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on how that went for the Red Wolves.
I think you were filling the listeners in as well as anyone. They had the big halftime lead, and looks like they held on for dear life at the end. IU South Bend's been pretty good in the last couple of years. 2 years ago, I believe they led the nation, or if they didn't lead, they were very, very high in the national rankings in all the defensive stats, and still pretty solid last year. They were 2-2 going into this game. So I haven't had my phone call with Coach Hester yet. I'm sure he's probably not thrilled about the way things went in the second half. But at this level, if you get a road win, I mean, yes, you want to. If you have a 21-point lead, you want to at least maintain it, and definitely don't want to see it get down to a 1-point game, which I think it did with about a minute left. But at the same time, at this level, if you can get a win on the road, you take it. So I'm sure there'll be a little frustration in the film session, but at the same time, when it's all said and done, when the team's goal is based on things throughout the national tournament, you do need to collect a lot of wins to get there, so it's one in the win column.
All right, well, thank you, Kyle, for joining me. We'll be back in 1 minute with the second half of IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IU East Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IU East athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20. And welcome back to IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Gard. You can stop laughing at me now. I had about 3 seconds to come back to break, and I had a piece of ice in my mouth and had to spit it out really quick to be able to make that talk. But the Red Wolves down by 1 as we begin the second half. And I cleaned up a mess over here at our table with ice and lids and everything else. Welcome back to IU East Women's Basketball. 19:45 to play in the second half as Denison had the opening possession to open the second half. And here's going to be traveling called on the Big Red as number 30, that's Mary Margaret Table, was called for traveling that time, which would have been a good basket for the Big Red to increase their lead by 3 here early on in the second half. King with the ball out top. Now it's over to Miller in the corner now with Dryman. Dryman drives into the lane, stops mid-lane, passes off to King underneath, and this one's going to be no good.
Oh.
King gets her own
Good
rebound and kicks it out to Dryman. And three-point shot by King, no good.
Oh.
Here's the Big Red at their end of the floor. Over into the corner now with Arter. This three-point shot, no good. Rebounded by King. It's going to go out of bounds off the hand of King, however. So 31-30. Still a minute and 5 seconds into the second half. The other team has scored almost out of bounds off of Holmes. Over on the left wing, drives inside is Arter, no good.
Oh, wow. What a fall.
Here's Packer with the ball. She's going to try to go up and it's going to be blocked by Holmes that time. And shot goes up by the Big Red. No good. Almost rebounded there by Dryman. The ball was loose on the floor. King gets a hold of it. Here she comes down the floor. She's going to take it down the right side of the lane, go left, lay it up and in. Basket's good for Tia King.
She definitely seized that opportunity and made use of it.
That's the third foul on Jordan Holmes. Team's first here in the second half on the Big Red. As Tia King goes to the line to shoot one after the good basket. This one up and off the back of the rim and in. King now has 7 points in this matchup. Ball over on the wing. Shot goes up by Arter. This one's good. 33-33, all tied up with 18 to play. Packer underneath, gets blocked once again underneath by Holmes. And here's Arter. Lays one in on the right side. 2-point lead for the Big Red, 35-33. Campbell with the ball in the right corner, out top to King. And it's going to go, Packer's going to miss and be called for over the back. It's going to be the second personal foul on Brooke Packer. Team's first on the Red Wolves in the second half. You know, the over-the-back fouls, one of those I'm not really quite sure about. Sometimes they call it really quick. Sometimes I think it should be a little bit longer than that. I mean, she was really just behind her to try to get the rebound that time. Straight up.
Ooh.
Shot missed there by Lindquist. And the foul's going to go against Table. It's her second. Team's second on Denison. And it'll be Red Wolf basketball. Dryman inbounds to Miller, who's walking the ball across the floor. Have it down to 20 to get it across. Crosses at 25. Dryman on the left wing, passes inside to King. Tries to find Dryman, kicks it out into the corner, and the three-point shot goes up by Campbell. No good. Here's the Big Red, drives it up the lane. It's going to be stripped away by Dryman. Packer has the ball, brings it down the floor for the Red Wolves and slows things down once she gets past the half-court line. Miller with the ball, goes right out on top of the key, tries to fake the handoff to Packer, passes inside to King. King is going to take it. This one's going to roll around and out. And Miller almost got it. And there's a basket by Wagner. Her first points of the game. Red Wolves down 37-33. Shot goes up by Campbell, no good. Rebounded by King. No good by King. Blocked. And a good basket there by the Big Red, by Fletcher. And that gives them a 39-33 lead. So right now, Denison on a 6-0 run. And the Red Wolves take a timeout with 15:40 to play. We'll be back with more IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And welcome back to women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Guard. Red Wolves trailing Denison University right now 39-33. We're down 31-30 at the half. Right now, Denison just on a run, and Red Wolves can't get a shot to fall right now. And as soon as I say that, Jenna Knapp is going to score for the Red Wolves. 39-35. Denison back down at their end of the floor. Shot goes up by number 34. That's Emily Crumpy. And it's going to be 41-35. Miller out top, passes over to Knapp. Now it's in the right corner to Tia King. Tia King lobs over to Schaefer. Schaefer inside to Miller. Miller back out to King, who drives the right side of the lane. And no good for Tia King. King is 0 for 5 from field goal range here in the second half. 41-35, 14:40 to play. And underneath is Maringer to try to score. She's going to be fouled and go to the line for 2.
If you notice, Coach Selhouse had 4 of her starters in at the beginning of this game. It has switched it up a little bit, only 3 now, but it seems like I said earlier, before the half, Coach Selhorst was playing a really heavy defense. And now I think she's realizing, and Denison, I think, realized that we were playing very heavy defense. And they're kind of switching up their game, playing a little bit more fast action now. And Coach Selhorst definitely has put her more quick players in, the ones who I believe are faster thinkers maybe in the game. And hopefully that turns around the scoring situation.
First free throw by Maringer was good. Gives them a 7-point advantage now, 42-35, with 14:37 to play. Here's the second free throw by Maringer. This one up and off the front of the rim, bounces around and falls in for Maringer. Knapp with the ball. Passes over to Dryman. Tried to find Schaefer in the corner. No one there. And it's going to be out of bounds. Big Red basketball. Denison has an 8-point lead right now with 14:28 to play. So right now the Red Wolves need to kind of slow things down right now and try to work the ball to the inside and get quality shots inside the paint, or right now just really play some smart offense. Double teamed out here on the right wing. And almost left a player open down underneath the basket. And she's open that time. That's Crumpy. She has 4 points now, all in the second half, off of that same shot, right underneath the basket, wide open. Dryman goes to the right side, no one there. Schaefer is in the corner, running the baseline, pass down to her underneath. This one's good for Schaefer. It's going to make it 45-37. And almost backcourt violation there by Nottage, and it's going to be stripped away by the Red Wolves. Schaefer has the ball, brings it up across the half-court line, and tried to pass to Knapp, but into the hands of the Big Red. And there's going to be a kick called. It'll stay Big Red basketball. A lot of action there really quick. In about 30 seconds, going from one end of the floor to the other multiple times.
A lot quicker pace that time. This half.
Red Wolves still down by 8. Only trailed by 1 at the half. 13:30 to play. And the ball being inbounded by the Big Red. And that's going to be a three-point shot by Taylor Lindquist for 3. So now it's 48-37. And here's a shot by Daisha Boyd. It's a three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Dryman, who gets her own rebound. And a travel called on the Red Wolves. So 48-37 with 12:55 to play. And right now, turnovers still just turning both teams. It's 21 turnovers for Denison in the game, 18 for the Red Wolves. And stolen away by the Red Wolves. Dryman brings the ball up the side, passes off over the left side. And underneath the Boyd, Boyd puts up a shot, and it's and one for the Red Wolves. Boyd's going to go to the line to shoot one. The foul is on Denison's Hable. Her third, team's third on the Big Red. Still a 11-point game a 9-point game after the good basket there by Boyd. Boyd at the line to shoot one. And here is Boyd at the free throw line. Shot goes up and in for Boyd. 48-40. Down the right side of the lane. Shot goes up by Nottage. No good. Her first shot in the second half. Had a big first half for the Big Red. Here's a shot over to the corner by Dobbins. It's going to be no good. Rebounded by the Big Red. And there's going to be
a timeout called.
A timeout called by the Big Red, as there's a lot of trapping going on down there at the other end of the floor. So the Red Wolves trail by 8 with 12:07 to play. We'll be back with more women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
Real heavy on
and welcome back to IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Red Wolves down by 8, 48-40. A good basket by Daisha Boyd and a free throw on a three-point play for the Red Wolves. As they were down by 11, cut the lead back to 8 for the Big Red. Timeout was taken as they were trapped trying to get the ball up the floor, and the shot clock was running down. And the ball on the right wing right now. They're going to pass down low, and there's going to be a foul called underneath the basket. This one's going to go, looks like, against Daisha Boyd. It's her first, team's third on the Red Wolves. Red Wolves trail by 8. Inbounded tonight is on the right wing. He's going to curl around over toward the free throw line, kick it out to Arter, who will miss the three-point attempt. Pass back out top. Nada shoots from inside the key. And it's going to go down to the Red Wolves into the floor. And that was Jenna Knepp with the basket for the Red Wolves. 48-42. Red Wolves now only down by 6. We're down by 11. Have almost cut the lead to the halfway point.
The Red Wolves are playing a lot quicker right now. Maybe it's the different players in.
11-10 to play. Red Wolves down by 6. Dryman set to inbound the ball for IU East. And she inbounds to Knepp, who will bring the ball up the floor for the Red Wolves. On the right side, here's Dryman. Kicks it over into the corner. And that's a three-point attempt missed by Miller. Rebounded, though, by Dryman, who will go to the line for 2. The foul was on Alyssa Wagner. Her first, team's 4th on the Big Red. Dryman at the line. First free throw was good. I almost said the Red Storm instead of the Big Red. And the Red Storm is Rio Grande, so they're not here.
No.
Conference opponent of the Red Wolves, the Rio Grande Red Storm. Second free throw, no good for Dryman.
Red seems to be a popular name. Red Wolves.
Red
Big
Wolves,
Red.
Big Red. You don't know how many times I've almost said the opposite for both teams today. Stolen away by Knepp. She's going to bring the ball down the floor on the break, laid in right-handed. And it's 48-45, 3-point ball game.
IU is definitely playing a quicker offense right now. Not as much as a heavy defense as they were in the first half.
It's going to be no
and a travel
shot. And Morgan mentioned the traveling violation on the Big Red. It's going to be Red Wolf basketball. 10:24 to play. Down by 3. Dryman set to inbound the ball to Knepp, who just scored the basket for the Red Wolves. So he's going to bring it up to the right side of the floor. Bring it back out top. And drives left side. The lane is Miller. No good. She's going to be blocked, and it'll be brought back down by the Big Red. Takes back out top, and a three-point shot goes up by... Three-point shot was attempted by Wagner, but Habel's going to go to the line and shoot 2 after being fouled. Foul was on Daisha Boyd. It's her second, team's 4th on the Red Wolves as Habel goes to the line to shoot 2. Table's 2 for 2 at the line in the game. And here's the first free throw. This one goes up and in.
I was watching an interview for their preview of Denison, and they said they have a very young team. And looking at their roster, they do have a fairly young team, but they've been relying a lot on Mary Margaret Habel tonight, and she's one of 2 seniors.
Second free throw for Habel is good. 4 for 4 at the free throw line tonight, as the Big Red leads 50-45 with just under 10 minutes to play. Three-point shot down in the corner by Boyd, no good. Rebounded by the Big Red. Trying to get the ball across, shot clock down to 25. Ball passed inside. This will be traveling called on the Big Red. It'll be Red Wolf basketball. It's 9:32 to play.
Traveling just seems to be a problem today.
And you know, if the Big Red didn't have 26 turnovers in the game right now, it would not be this close of a basketball game.
Definitely not.
And the ball down in the left corner right now with Dobbins. Boyd has it. Kicks it over to the right corner. Three-point shot by Miller. Goes up and in. And it's 50-48.
That's definitely what the Red Wolves needed right now. Just a couple more, though.
And this one's going to be over the left corner with the Big Red. Red Wolves down by 2 with 8:55 to play. Denison setting up a play. Ball on the right wing. And all stolen away by Knapp. Trying to find somebody to pass the ball off to. Shot clock at 25. Down in the corner. Here's Dryman. Lays it in and ties it up at 50. And a timeout taken by the Big Red as the Red Wolves have just tied it up at 50 with 8:37 to play. They're going to take a full timeout. We're going to take a quick timeout as well. We'll be right back with more women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Guard. Game now tied up at 50 as the Red Wolves have rallied back after being down by 11. And they were only down by 1 at the half, but at one point we're down by 11. Now it's all tied up at 50 with 8:37 to play. The Denison Big Red took a timeout as they're trying to get back into their routine here in the second half.
IU's has definitely put some pressure on them this second half. Oh.
And almost stolen away by Boyd. And here's Miller. She's got a chance to take the lead. She goes up, lays it in right-handed. And that is a good basket for Miller.
She's been almost their savior this half. Made that 3-point and now got the steal, made the basket. She's definitely a key player.
The foul goes against Alex Ingram. That's going to be her first. 5 team fouls now on Denison, and it puts Miller at the line to shoot 1. Here's the free throw by Miller, up and in. And that's the 3-point lead now for the Red Wolves, 53-50. Right now, the Red Wolves in a 2-3 zone. Shot clock down to 7. Stolen away by Boyd. Boyd on the break. She's going to go up left-handed and lay it in, 55-50. Her mother down here in front of us in the bleachers up shouting for her daughter. 55-50.
She's very excited.
And that's going to be laid in by Alex Arter. Makes it 55-52. Red Bulls still up by 3 with 7:21 to play. Here's Boyd. It's going to be blocked underneath by Holmes. Will still stay Red Wolf basketball out of bounds.
I think Coach Sarah Lee got very used to our heavy defense in the first half. That she's not quite sure what to do with this quicker, faster offense that IU East has brought to the table. Great coaching strategy, though, by Coach Selhorst.
And they're calling a foul on Dobbins. Her second, team's 5th on the Red Wolves. 7:15 to play, 55-52. Dobbins got away with reaching there. There's a shot by Lindquist. And 55-54, Red Wolves with only a 1-point lead. Here's Miller. Packer over to Dobbins, who puts up the 3. This one's no good. Rebounded by Packer. Up and no good. Rebounded by Miller. So Dobbins and Packer both missed shot opportunities. Miller out on the right wing. Cross-court pass to Knapp. Knapp drives the lane. This one's up and in. Oh, that was close there over on the sideline. Called out of bounds on Knapp, who almost saved it over there on the right side, or the far side of the floor up by the scores table. Red Wolves up by 3 with 6:14 to play. And here's the ball being inbounded by the Big Red. And it's going to be 5-second violation called on the Big Red. It'll be Red Wolf basketball. Driving pass down low to Packer, but not able to get to Packer before it's stolen away. There's a shot by Nottage, 57-56. And it's going to go the other way as the Red Wolves have a 1-point advantage. There's going to be a timeout taken out on the floor with 5:47 to play. We'll be right back with more IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. And welcome back to IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. IU East up by 1, and what a game we have right now. You know, it's a lot of turnovers and stuff, but the Red Wolves have really had to fight to come back here in the second half. Big Red has the ball as they bring it down the floor over on the left wing. Now over to the right wing to Arter, who drives the lane. It's going to be fouled on the way up. This one's going to go against Dryman. It's only Dryman's first foul in the matchup, as there's 16 fouls on the Red Wolves. So the next foul will put the Big Red in the bonus. And here is a free throw attempt by Arter, ties it up at 57. And here is the second of the two. This one in as well, gives a 1-point lead back to Denison. Ball out on top. Here's Dryman, passes it back out top to Miller. Miller drives the lane, puts one up. She's going to go to the line and shoot two. Reminder, the Red Wolves play Heidelberg tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And Miller at the line to shoot two right now for the Red Wolves. First shot, up and in. Ties it at 58. Second free throw is good. And 59-58, the Red Wolves with the 5:13 lead. Or with the lead with 5:13 to play. I'll figure it out here in a minute. 59-58. Here's a three-point shot by Habel out top. This one's good. back with a 1-point lead. And nothing called there. Normally you'll at least get a block off of that. One of the things that's been really stressed a lot the past year or so is not flopping, and there may have been a deal where the ref thought maybe that she tried to flop there, but instead of trying to make a call and a valid case for that, just let it go. So 61-59 with 4:35 to play. Ball in the corner, shot by Dobbins. They're going to call her for traveling. She's done that several times throughout this game.
She has. Both teams have had a lot of problems with traveling.
61-59, 4:25 to play. And it's going to be a shot by Nottage. No good. Rebounded by Holmes. Tried to kick out, but stole by Knapp. Driving with a little bit of a stutter step over there on the right side. And a shot from three-point land by Boyd is good. (62-61) with 3:50 to play. And pass back out to the three-point line. Nottage inside to Dryman. Dryman will get the steal. And the Red Wolves have the ball with 3:35 to play. Pass underneath, out and through the left corner. Working the ball around the perimeter. Dryman with the ball over on the right side. Underneath the basket, puts it up. Not fouled. And she's going to get her own rebound. And it's going to be over in the left corner once again for the Red Wolves. And Miller drives underneath the basket. She's going to the line to shoot two.
Bailey Dryman has been very good this whole game at getting her own rebounds.
Miller will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. 3 for 3 from the line in the second half. And add to that, make it 4 for 4. Holds back in for Denison. And Kayla Schaefer back in for the Red Wolves. Here's the second free throw by Miller, up and in, 5 for 5. So 64-61 with 3:21 to play. Red Wolves still have a lot of work to do in this remaining 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Ball over on the right wing with Holmes. Stolen away by Knapp. She'll pass off to Boyd. Boyd on the break. Underneath to Schaefer, and that makes it 66-61 off the assist.
What a perfect play.
A nice play there by the Red Wolves. Ball over on the left wing is Denison starting to get a sense of urgency here in the final 3 minutes of this basketball game.
They definitely seem to be feeling the pressure from the Red Wolves.
And blocked by Schaefer. Down the floor to Knapp. Knapp has the ball over on the right wing. Out top to King, which is going to try to slow things down here. Shot clock at 20. And this is where you want to start trying to burn a little bit of time off the clock while you have this 5-point lead to guarantee it. Schaefer's going to be blocked on the way up that time. And a shot underneath by Arter makes it 66-63. And I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of action to be seen here in this next 2 minutes.
Yes.
3-point lead for the Red Wolves. Dryman with the ball out on the right wing. Knapp shoots one from the free throw line. This one's going to be missed. Rebounded by Holmes.
And rebounded.
Here's Schaefer. It's going to go in 68-63.
Our Rebels have been playing such a smart game today. Even with all the turnovers and all the little mistakes, they're still playing very smart.
And there's going to be a timeout taken by Denison. They're going to take a full timeout as the Red Wolves have a 5-point lead with 1:36 to play. We'll be back with the final minute and a half of IU East women's basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network right after this. And welcome back to IU East Women's Basketball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Caleb Gillock along with Morgan Guard. Red Wolves have a 5-point lead with 1:36 to play. Right now, Red Wolves are in the bonus. The Big Red one foul away from being in the bonus, so 6-7 on the foul situation with the last minute and a half to play. Hable with the ball out on top over to the right wing with Arter. Shot clock at 15, and there's going to be a foul called on the Red Wolves. This one's going to go against Kayla Schaefer. That's her second, team 7th on the Red Wolves. So now the Big Red in the bonus. They'll put Arter at the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Here's the first one. This one's no good. Rebounded by Dryman. And Schaefer with the ball. Hands off to Boyd. Boyd takes it down the right side. Lays it in. 70-63. Minute 10 to play. Red Wolves with a 7-point lead. Hable with the ball out on top. Lobs it underneath to Holmes. She'll score 70-65. Under a minute to play. King with the ball. Boyd out top. Now over to Schaefer on the right wing.
Ooh.
Lobbed underneath into the hands of Holmes. 5-point lead, 45 seconds to play. And it's going to be out of bounds off of the Red Wolves. It'll stay Denison basketball with 42.0 exact on the clock.
The Red Wolves are definitely doing a lot to keep the clock going and the Big Red from scoring right now. I mean, 42 seconds, and Denison's only down by 5. It's definitely, the pressure is set in.
So a 2-possession game here. 3-point shot by Arter is going to be off the mark, rebounded by King. Shot clock at 25.
IU East definitely looks like they're trying to slow it down right now, but Denison is not having it.
There was a 0.4 of a second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. The foul was on Erica Holmes. Her first, team's 8th on the Big Red. And that's going to put, looks like, Knepp at the line to shoot the 1-and-1. First shot on the 1-and-1 by Knepp was good. Makes it 71-65.
Coach Shawhorse is definitely getting on her players right now.
And I was able to hear her say no fouls. You've got 22.4 to play. You don't want to foul here. Second free throw there by Knepp was good. Shot there by Nottage was good. Makes it 72-67 with 13.3 to play. And a timeout taken as the Red Wolves lead by 5. So Morgan, what a close game right now. What do you expect to see here in the next 13 seconds?
We have 13.3 seconds, and Denison is down by more than a 3-point shot right now. So as long as the Red Wolves do not foul, I think this game will end well for the Wolves. They've been playing so well, and Denison, for their season opener, they shouldn't be too upset with how this game has went. Definitely both learning games, and I think this will end up in a Red Wolf victory.
Definitely hope if the Red Wolves win, they'll be over the 500 mark for the first time this season. Started out 0-2 and right now on a 2-0 win streak. And this would make it 3 today if they can pick up a win over Denison before playing Heidelberg at 1 p.m. tomorrow. It's the first time that the Red Wolves have ever had to play back-to-back games. And when I had a chance to talk to Coach Rondo, the assistant women's basketball coach, last week after the Wilberforce game, she took place of Coach Selhorst that night. She said, so it's the first time that we've had back-to-back games, so it should be interesting to see how they're able to play this weekend. So, it definitely has been an interesting game in the first one. Can't wait to see how they play tomorrow. Up by 5. Hopefully they're just not too tired after today's game before tomorrow's.
I think the fact that they don't have to go back to a hotel room and sleep in the hotel room, and they get to go back to their own beds and things, I think that may be to their advantage.
Right. As the ball is inbounded to the Red Wolves, a foul on the play. And that was on number 10, Erica Holmes. Her second, team's 9th on Denison. And that's going to put Campbell at the line to shoot 1-1 for the Red Wolves as they have a 5-point lead with 12.1 to play. And coming back in for the Big Red, Alyssa Wagner. Here's the first free throw by Campbell. That one's good. 73-67.
It'll be interesting to see how Denison plays these next 12 seconds.
And the second free throw by Campbell is good. 74-67. Game clock under 10. Here's Nottage. Tries to lay one in. Almost rebounded by Holmes. 3.8 left on the game clock as it is out of bounds.
Coach Selhorst definitely looks pleased with how the Red Wolves have been playing today.
Ball is inbounded to Knapp, who will just walk it out. And the Red Wolves are going to take a 74-67 win over Denison Big Red. Morgan, tell us a little bit about today's game.
Great job, Denison. Great season opener for you guys. I hope for the best for them as well. IU East, though, great experience to play a Division III school and win. I think that's monumental for them. Definitely a young team. We stress how young all our athletics are. And I think this was a real challenge for them, and to see them come out on top was amazing. First half, played a very heavy defense, and I think that worked in their favor. This second half definitely played a smart, quicker game offensively. Quick thinkers, very versatile players. I can't wait to see how they improve over this year, and over years in the future.
All right. Well, it's as we wait on Coach Selhorst to come up here for the post-game show, let's go ahead and go over some of the stats from this afternoon's game. Of course, the Red Wolves took the 74-67 victory over the Denison Big Red. On field goals, IU East shot 25 of 68 for 36.8%, and Denison shot 28 for 60 for 46.7%. So Denison did have a higher field goal percentage than the Red Wolves. From three-point range, Denison was 3 for 13. I really don't think they shot many more three-pointers in the second half, if any. I believe they were still 3 for 13 going in at halftime. The Red Wolves were 5 for 20 from three-point range, shooting 25%. From the free throw line, Denison shot 8 for 10. The Red Wolves were 19 for 20. Free throw line, that's pretty good for any team. On rebounds, Denison had 43, 14 offensive, 29 defensive, and IU East had 36 rebounds, 15 offensive, 21 defensive. And on turnovers, we talked about how many of those there were. There were actually 58 turnovers in today's game. Denison committed 35 of those turnovers, and 23 of them were committed by the IU East Red Wolves. So now joining me for the post-game show is Daisha Boyd. Thanks for joining me. Tell us a little bit about today's win over Denison.
Stood up in the second half with our defense, and defense is really what made us win this game.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, one of the things we talked about a lot in the game were all the turnovers that were going on, and with 23 turnovers in the entire game, what are some of the things team you can work on to cut those turnovers down before tomorrow's game against Heidelberg?
Being smart with our passes. We tried to force a lot of passes on the inside and some on the outside. I think if we watch closely with our passes and ball fake and things in that nature, we'll be good for tomorrow.
All right, 25 of 68 from field goal range. Were the shots just not falling today, or was it bad shot selection?
No, it was actually a great shot selection. Just wasn't falling for us today, but we should have it tomorrow.
All right, well, Heidelberg tomorrow. Have you guys talked about them yet, and what do you know about them?
Actually, we don't. We don't know anything about them just yet, but we'll talk about that all today and get our scouting reports on them and be ready to go.
All right, well, congratulations on another great win. 3-2 on the season after a 74-67 victory over the Denison Big Red. The Red Wolves, once again, 3-2, and Coach Selhorst is going to join me as well for the post-game show. And as she sits down, Dry off the headset there a little bit after Daisha just came up here right after the game. Coach, I want to kind of ask you some of the same things. A lot of turnovers in the game. What are some of the things that, as a team, they can work on to cut those turnovers down?
Well, we just got to take care of the ball. You know, right at the beginning of the season, I'm okay with some of the turnovers as long as we're pushing the ball. I saw a lot more movement on offense. We still are not running our transition the way that we want to, so that led to some turnovers. But, you know, as long as these kids can fight through it right now and we get better every game, then that's our goal.
Now, what are some of the things you said there's things that you can work on to get better every game? What are some of the things that you saw in today's game that you need to work on?
Well, definitely transition offense and, you know, taking care of the ball. We're still not running what we want to run. You know, defensively, I thought we did a lot better with the fouls. We kept that team off the free throw line. That was a goal all week that we continue to work on. You know, the majority of our first 4 games, we've had 4 or 5 kids in foul trouble at the half, so we only had 1 with 2 fouls, so that was good. You know, just defensively, continuing to talk. We need to keep bringing energy. We struggle at the beginning of the game sometimes with bringing some energy, but that just comes with keeping on playing, and
right.
you got freshmen, so they just need to learn how to be ready to play the game.
All right, well, Heidelberg tomorrow, I know Daisha said that you've not had a chance to talk about them as a team, and I know you've talked a lot about taking it one game at a time, but I'm sure with this being a back-to-back weekend, you've already started looking into them and going through scouting reports. What do you know about Heidelberg?
Actually, we don't know a whole lot of them. Their first game is right now. They are starting in 16 minutes. They are not returning a ton of people from last year. You know, they do improve every single year. Their record they were 12-14, I believe, last year, and they were 0-28 3 years ago. So every year they're getting better. But our focus isn't the opponents right now. Our focus is us. So, yeah, the coaches know what's going on, and we're keeping an eye on our opponent's stats. But really, when we talk to the girls, we're talking about us.
All right, well, congratulations on another win, and good luck tomorrow against Heidelberg. Once again, the Red Wolves take a 74-67 win over the Denison Big Red here at the Earlham College Classic in their first game of the weekend. Now 3-2 on the season after today's win. Special thanks to Kyler Garner, our broadcast engineer, and Morgan Gard for commentary. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. We'll see you all tomorrow at 12:55 for the pregame show against Heidelberg. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.